Do you recognize this kid's face? Well, you should, because he's being plastered all over the news right now. This is one of the Florida high school students that's supposedly speaking from the heart and urging America to do something about the, quote, gun violence epidemic in America. This kid is all over the TV news wearing a suit like he's ready to run for political office or something, just pouring his little heart out. What you're not seeing on the TV news is the fact that this is all scripted. This kid is reading from a script, and I will prove it. What you're about to watch is excerpts that were taken out of the original news broadcast that weren't usable because the kid was going from a script and he forbled with his lines. I'll actually pause it and let you listen to his coach helping him with what to say in just a few moments here. But let's watch the video and you can judge for yourself.
Fire alarm earlier that day, and that was a drill, so we thought this was a drill too, just another one, because we have a lot of fire alarms, a lot of fire drills at the school. After we heard the first gunshot, we initially thought it was a drill. Actually, that was a bad choice.
It's okay, you're fine.
Actually, that was a bad choice because the janitor, sorry.
It's okay, you're fine, David, you're fine.
Honestly, when I was going out, I was kind of in, I wasn't, hold on.
It's okay.
When I was going out, I was in shock.
Listen carefully. What you're about to hear is someone off camera coach this kid and feed him the line, and I quote, say, I don't know how to put this in perspective. And anybody out there who's astute in body language can tell you that this kid is running off of a script and he's messing up on his lines. So listen for it. Say, I don't know how to put this in perspective.
Saying I don't know how to put this in perspective. Okay.
So most of my friends that made it out, one of them went into a bathroom in the same, I believe in the same hallway as the shooter. Well, hold on. One of them went into the same bathroom, I believe, as the hallway shooter. He was in there at the same time, and he was in the bathroom, and he didn't know if he was going to live.
I've been editing video for a decade and I know exactly what I'm looking at. No one likes to see dead children on the news. The only thing that I don't like to see more than dead children on the news is when political hacks and politicians use the blood of children and manipulate kids into furthering their political agenda. See, we live in a society where people selectively determine what is truth as opposed to a society that values logic and reason. Okay, here's one for you, liberal politicians and people that are of the liberal political perspective. And don't get me into this, man. I'm not right or left. I'm an anarchist. I don't care for either side of the political perspective. But I understand reality. And here's the logic of it, okay? We live in a society that defends and protects celebrities with security personnel with guns. We live in a society that protects our borders with security personnel with guns. Our society has 800 military bases in 70 countries defending our quote-unquote interest with men and women with guns. We defend our politicians and protect them with people with guns. And somehow that same society thinks it's okay to protect our children with a little plaque that says gun-free zone. You see, if you look at all these spree shooters and all these mass murderers, they're all killing people in areas where they know they won't have any resistance. The only place that gets attacked sometimes by these mass shooters that's not a gun-free zone or a place where they know that people are just going to be a victim smorgasbord for them to attack are military bases. And the only reason why it happens at military bases is because you have a very high concentration of people with PTSD and mental problems due to the horrors of war. But all the rest of the spree shootings and all the rest of the mass murders occur in areas where there's gun-free zones. So these kids are being killed by the gun-free zones because these killers know they won't have any resistance. The vast majority of these spree shooters, when you actually read about the cases, are all either killing themselves when they first see cops, or when they see that a citizen, because sometimes citizens aim weapons at these people, and they kill themselves immediately or surrender. So there you go. You know, let's live in a society that values logic over reason. I'll give an example. 33,000 people, I read the other day, are killed by falling off of ladders in America. But I don't see people getting on the news and crying saying, let's have better workplace safety. You know, there's strips of California highway that kill more people every year than all the gun crime combined in this country. People need to stop allowing themselves to be manipulated by their emotions. See, politicians will never let a crisis go to waste, and they will always step in and provide you a solution to make you feel better. But the solution equals more tyranny. And if you check out what these cops in this police state, in this, Orwellian nightmare of a society that they're begging for, there's actually law enforcement officials going on the news saying that they need the power to manipulate a law called the Baker Act in Florida that will allow them to go through people's social media. And if you're, just crap posting on the internet and you post some stuff that maybe you don't mean, or you're just talking BS when you're playing a violent video game, they're going to be able to use this as a means to involuntarily force people into mental institutions and steal their liberty and put them on meds and disappear people down into the memory hole of, yesteryear. This is like the kind of stuff that happened in Soviet Russia. If you talked bad about the state, or you talked about stuff that the government said that they didn't want you to talk about, they would involuntarily commit you. This is like a scary sci-fi novel come to life. If people allow themselves to have emotionality drive them, and the politicians will step in and hand them a solution to make their little butts not hurt anymore, we're going to end up living in a bad sci-fi movie. I call on every free-thinking individual to stand up right, left, and center. I don't care about your political ideology. To stand up and resist the idea of children being used to manipulate people's heartstrings into adopting legislation that they would never, ever, ever dream about allowing to happen otherwise. It is uncategorically, morally, and ethically repugnant to use the blood of children to further a political agenda. How about this, liberal politicians that are trying to use this crisis and not let a good crisis go to waste? How about you guys fire the thousands of concealed carry armed security guards that all of you have? We could save some money. How about you arm them with slingshots? If guns don't make people safe, and guns make for a horrible society where all our children are at risk, do the right thing, do the ethical thing, left-wing politicians, and fire your armed security details.